Hey everybody, welcome to the signups video for the MSCA American Ethanol Truck Series. This is pretty long overdue, so I'm just going to get right to it and try to get through this. I'll open up NR real quick as well before we get started here. But while NR is opening, just a few things to go over. As the drivers will have different templates that they will use. NR's opening. So we'll wait for that to said I'm gonna get right to it, and then I start NR when I should have started it before I started recording. So we're about there. There it is. So this is the it's the PWF truck mod because I like the PWF mods. I think they're clean. I think they're nice. I think they actually work with the game. They don't ruin my computer by making it slow as shit. As you can see, I got a few drivers already in here. These drivers, just to show what they are, the 6, the 16, 37, and 76 will be open for anyone to pick. You can ask for a different sponsor as the driver, or you can you can ask for a different sponsor. You can't ask for a different number. So if you don't want to have Dodge and you want to have, like, say, Mopar or something, if you want to change the scheme, you can change this Mountain Dew scheme. If you want Mountain Dew, you can change this Dodge scheme if you want a different sponsor on it. But yeah, this one you can also change the sponsor and the scheme for it. That is, if you want to. If you like the scheme and you want to keep it, then go ahead. Do you? I'm not here to control exactly everything here, so you guys get at least a little bit of control over this. But these trucks will not be open to be used. So 04, 17, 22, 25, 33, 38, 64, 68, and 80. And I'll have this list in the description. So these are the drivers that will not be available. These are the numbers that won't be available because there's already drivers in these cars. 68 is obvious. 38 not as obvious, but pretty close. As you can see, it's already got a scheme on here. But 38 and 68 should be fairly obvious to you guys if you have been around me long enough. The other ones, the 64, the 80, the 33, 25, 22, 17, and 04, those are just drivers who are in the truck set, because this is coming from a pre-existing truck set that I made. So all these schemes are made by me, but these are all coming from a pre-existing truck set, and I'm trying to keep at least some of the drivers from that still in for another season or two. Depends on how long it goes. Depends on how long I want this series to run. I might just end it off after this season. So I might not. It just depends on how life goes. So that's all I wanted to show you guys in NR. But here are your templates that you're going to be using. The driver template, name. Please be at least somewhat realistic. First and last name. Nothing dumb. I will take some dumb names, but not a lot. Those will be for, like, the part-time signups, which will be in another video. The number, again, anything 0 to 999, so anything with 1 to 3 spaces, and Skype is going off. Anything with 1 to 3 spaces, whatever numbers you want, you can put in there. The chassis, pick one of these, or if you have if you know of another truck in a different chassis, send it to me. Make sure you at least pick one of these in case I can't do it. But I'll attempt to make some trucks. Like, say, if you want a Nissan Titan, or what else? I think Honda has a truck. Sometimes I can do SUVs. It just depends on what kind of SUV it is. So something like a Tahoe or a Suburban, I would probably be able to figure something out for that one. But those are like those are basically trucks that don't have beds on the back. So country and state, this is just where your driver's from, who they're going to represent nationally. Because there's a few drivers. I think if we go back to NR, this guy is from Russia. I think, yeah, this guy's from Australia. We got a American. I think this guy's from. No, he's American. Tanya Breyer. You guys know this name. That's Monaco, America. Yeah, there's a couple different nations that I've already gotten here. But that's basically the second. That's almost it for the driver signups. Tell me if you're male or female. Male pronouns, female pronouns, whatever. Just so that way I know. It's more imperative for people I don't know who, for names such as Addison Steinbeck. I didn't know that Addison was male until like halfway through season 1. So give or take, because some names can be pretty easy, some names might not be. So something like Addison Steinbeck, I probably would say is female at first, and then say something else. So if your name is kind of on the borderline, just at least put this there. You don't have to if you don't want to, but if your name seems like I'll ask for it if you don't put it in there, but you don't have to put it in there unless I ask. So the team is optional. You don't have to have a team. For drivers, you're gonna have to put number and chassis on there, just because I'll have some trucks that'll be running for themselves, and then there's going to be trucks on teams. So that's why I have teams as optional. So team name again has to be realistic. Team owner's name has to be realistic. Same thing with the same thing for driver. Same thing as the drivers. The team chassis again, same as the driver chassis. Pick one of these, and then if you want something else, I can see if I can do it, and if not, I'll put your cars on the one that you choose. For the paints and for when we get to the paints, I have a lot of different Chevrolets and Dodges and Fords. I think I have 2 Toyotas. But for Chevrolet, Dodge, Ford, and Toyota, I have a couple different styles you can choose from, different years of certain trucks. Some are different models. Say like Dodge, I have 1 Dakota. I have a single Dakota template that I can use. Requested numbers, you can have 4 numbers to request, and those will be locked to your team. And if someone else that is not on your team wants that number, then I'll talk to you about it. You can say if they can or if they can't. But if that's the one thing keeping that person from signups, they'll take over the number. This is basically just like, these are the numbers you want, and you'll get them if you you'll basically be able to get them. This is, well, I guess you'll basically be able to get them unless someone fills out for the truck and they get that number first. So you gotta at least sign someone to the number. I'm not gonna just say, well, this guy has a number, but he's got no truck on it. So you have to have at least a driver in that vehicle in order to keep it. So, and also finally, sponsors. For any truck, you get 1 sponsor per truck. So if you have 2 trucks on your team, you get 2 different sponsors for each. You get one sponsor for each truck. You get 2 sponsors as a whole. Also, another rule: you can have 4 trucks on your team, but 3 are full time and 1 is part time. So you can't have 4 full time trucks. You have to have at least 1 part time if you're going to have 4 trucks. This is more like a thing where I had it set up where most teams were just 3, so if you want a fourth truck, I think they have to run at most. You have to run half the season or less to be considered part time. If you run more than half the season, well, I can make exceptions. At least if you run 3/4 of the season, which it's 16 races. If you don't run four, if you're a part time driver, you can run at least 10. I'll say that. Well, I guess I don't know how Colin does it, but you can't run the full season as a part time driver, and you really honest to God can't run. You guys know how part time works. Part time is basically you have a limited amount of a limited schedule, so you're not running every race. You gotta at least have two drivers in that truck if you're gonna run that truck full season. So, as for and now we're gonna go over to the the racing format kind of. Qualifying, I'll actually have live stream qualifying, so it'll be 2 rounds of qualifying. It'll start off with the go or go homers, which would be 27th on back in points. How I'm going to run that first race, though, I think I'm just going to have everyone qualify for that first round. So it'll be, depending on how many trucks I get in that first round, depending on how many trucks I get for the first race, I'm hoping to at least have 36. After that, then I can then give or take a few. But at maximum, there's going to be 36, and that's going to be when the full-time signups stop. And then we get to part-time signups, which you can still go for you can still run for a full-time ride, but you can't. But you can't run. But I don't know how to say. You can run for a full-time ride in the part-time signups, but but you can't run part-time until that signups video comes out, because I want 36 drivers at least to be full-time drivers. 27th and lower in points will qualify to make the race, and that'll be the go or go home drivers. And then the next session will be actual race qualifying, so that'll be where you end up starting for the race. That second round will be for figuring out where you're going to end up starting for the race. The race will be just basic format. It's going to be run through the laps. Whoever gets to the line first wins. So points will go as follows. The first place driver, whoever wins, will get 60 points. And then second through 36th in the race, there will be a maximum of 36 drivers per race, will be 35 through 1 point. Add in bonus points depending on where you I think I'll have a pole award, which would be like 5 bonus points. A pole award will have the most laps led. Leading a lap will get you a point, so technically first gets you 61. Hard Charger Award, that'll give you 1 point as well. So I would have to go through RPM to figure out what all the bonus points are. And for ratings, it'll be based on, for drivers, it'll be based on when you sign up. For teams, it'll also be based on when you sign up, but teams will also have an extra effect with their car ratings. And drivers will affect their driver ratings. Teams will affect the car and the pit crew. Sponsors will also affect car ratings, and it won't affect pit crew ratings. It'll just affect car ratings, and those will change depending on what sponsor you get. And so I'm kind of have a system going where you got temporary sponsors where you won't keep for the entirety of the season. They'll be available for certain tracks. So say you get Carl Chevrolet, which is a pretty big dealership in Ankeny, Iowa. If you land the sponsor of Carl Chevrolet, you only get to use that for the Iowa races. So and then there's a couple others that would be run for, like, say, Indianapolis and Indianapolis Raceway Park. You'd be able to use both of those. You'll be able to use the sponsor at both of those. And then there's gonna be those would be local sponsors and crap, local sponsors and state sponsors. I almost forgot state sponsors. State sponsors will be statewide, so Indianapolis, Texas, they have multiple races. Trying to think of some other tracks that might have multiple different races. Gateway and Chicagoland, I'm gonna put those together. I'm gonna lump those together since St. Louis, Illinois. That's a thing that happens. But yeah, sponsors. Then there's permanent sponsors, which you will keep throughout the rest of the season. They're available at all tracks. And finally, kind of the little extra stuff. Again, part timers. For those of you who want to just run part time, that'll be for a future video after we get the first 36 drivers into the series. So as soon as we get 36 drivers, then there'll be the part-time signups. And then finally, then there's the pre-existing drivers that I showed before. And then there's the 4 that you guys can sign up to. So that would be the 6, the 16, the 37, and the 76. The 6, the 16, and the 76 will be on the same team. The 37 will be on the same team of the 25 and the 17. I think there's another truck. No, there was another truck, but they lost. But I took that out. So the 22, the 17, 25, and 37 will all be on the same team, and then the 6, 16, and 76 will all be on the same team. So just kind of giving you a little bit of who's going to be your teammates out there. And I think I've got over everything that you guys need to know for at least the signups video. There's going to be a lot of different videos for different things. So sponsors, I think I'll have a sponsors video which will show the I'll go over. Actually, I think the sponsors will be available in the paints video, so I'll go over that when we get to paints. It gives me a little bit more time to create that sponsor list for the temporary sponsors, because that's what I need to work on still. But I think that's it. Hope you guys have fun. Enjoy this series. It's a bit complicated for me, not as complicated for you guys, but definitely could be a lot worse. So hope you guys have fun. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.